After reading the end of To Your Eternity, the final chapter, here are my thoughts. I really liked this manga. In fact, this is probably my favorite manga ever. This doesn't have the insane hype moments that you might find in like a shonen manga series or anything like that. To be honest, I'm not entirely clear on, the exact message I should be taking away from the series. There are some stuff here and there, some messages throughout that I really enjoyed thematically. But the thing that really got me for To Your Eternity was just the spectacle of it. This series has had me in its grasp for 4 to 5 years, ever since the release. I remember I made like one of my first like proper YouTube videos about this series. And honestly, To Your Eternity really got me into my entire journey as a YouTube content creator. It's really quite something. This series got me started, it grew my channel, and then it killed it through, copyright, Japan did not like me uploading, videos of this anime. And then they did not like me uploading videos of the manga either, which I found out the hard way. So, I grew my channel, they killed it. I grew my channel again, they killed it again. And that's where I'm at now. And now we finally reached the end of the runtime, and I'm just thinking, wow, I just can't get this series out of my head. Obviously, I will not be showing any, thing from the manga or the anime, because I'm tired of taking risks. But I just had to come on and say something about it. It's really incredible. As far as the future arc is concerned, I really enjoyed it. I had my concerns going into it. I thought this was kind of like they should have ended it at the modern arc. Why are we doing a whole nother? We're doing this again? And yeah, we did it again. And honestly, it was amazing. I think the future arc might be one of the best. I don't know. It was very sporadic. I was reading it on and off. I, had a lot of hiatuses reading this thing, the future arc. But the future arc might be the best in the story for me personally. Though it's quite a tough. It's tough to decide, even though they're all so good. The future arc in particular had a lot of ups and downs. It started off kind of wandering around. We're following the doll character, as well as the crab doll, and I didn't really know where it was going. But we started, getting into things. We started discovering our characters. We got our main cast back together, and things started really picking up. And it really turned into just such an incredible, fun time, which is not the type of thing you'd expect from To Your Eternity of all things. I remember, back in the beginning, the old days of To Your Eternity, where it was tragedy. Every few chapters, another tragedy, characters dying left and right, dropping like flies. And then you get to the future arc, and, characters aren't really able to die, so you got to think of some creative ways to create that meaning there. Characters do end up, dying. It's just harder for them to die. So Oima really created some clever ways to make me really feel some feelings for these characters, especially the whole thing with the doll in 32. I thought that whole arc with, the girls in the laboratory trying to create a clone of Mizuha. Oh, spoilers, by the way. All that was really incredible and was really the big highlight of this entire arc, I would say. One thing I think I should also highlight is kind of the inclusion of the characters. I think at this point, there's not really, a smart reason for this particular cast of characters that we've been following through the series. I just think that Oima just likes them. And you know what? I don't really care. I'm fine with that. Sure. Is there a particular reason why, March needs to be in these battle scenes and the bear's there too? I'm fine with it. I do not mind. I turned my brain off a long time ago. I'm just happy that everyone's here because I'm just attached to all these characters. And hey, maybe that's the same reason that Fushi keeps him around too. Fushi's attached to his friends, so he keeps him around. So I was hyped all the way seeing my boys and my girls, kicking ass in the final fight. That was lovely. When it came to Fushi kind of dealing with the man in black, Satoru, absorbing the orb of power and becoming the omnipotent god, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't really fully understand what's going on, but it seems to me that he, absorbed the Man in Black finally. He was offered this power before, he turned it down because maybe it's a little bit too powerful, and then maybe everything becomes meaningless. But it seems like he's taken in the Man in Black's power to become omnipotent, but at the same time, he also took in the Knocker's power. I guess, I don't know what happened there, so I guess the Knockers are all gone? Did he absorb all the Knockers? So he has the Knockers inside of his body, and they're constantly conflicting with his inner self. It's not entirely clear, but you know what? I whatever happened there, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it, because at this point, a series as big and as grand and as timeline-spanningly large as To Your Eternity, this is kind of the only real way to end the series. Fushi is just a god at this point. He has all the power. And his friends eventually, they leave him. They're hanging out. They hang out for a few hundred years more. Fushi is a, big baby. He's like, he doesn't want his friends to leave. He's like, guys, please, no, don't leave me. No, just 300 years, okay? 300 more years, okay? And then they're like, fine, Fushi, we'll stick around for another 300 years. And then they do eventually leave him. And I just thought that was really funny, because it does cut to him later. Fushi's like, and they really did leave me 300 years later. Can you believe them? He did not take it well, but he did take it, which I think was a very important lesson for Fushi to learn, was that, hey, you can live with your friends for a long time, but eventually, they're going to want to go off and do their own thing. So you're going to have to let them go eventually. And he did. So good for him. And I just absolutely loved the ending scene where it's right back at the Eskimo village. Oh my god, that was so nice, where he's at the chair, instead of dying like the first kid, the Eskimo boy at the beginning of the series, instead of just dying, he's, at the chair, reminiscing about his past events after painting all of his, new friends up on the wall. And it's like, nice. We had such a nice adventure. All these people that he met throughout his journey. And it's just so nice. And then it does finally end with him, venturing outside and walking off to wherever he's going, wherever Fushi's going. He'll have an adventure, even though he's like a omnipotent god at this point. And I think it was such a perfect way to end it. It perfectly, wrapped things up in, kind of an ambiguous way. Not sure what's going on, if we're even on the same planet anymore, or like thousands many of the thousands of years may have passed at this point. But it picked up right where the Eskimo boy left off, and I feel like that's just so sick. I loved that. Now, if I were to pinpoint my favorite characters, let's run it down. Let's run it down. Say, so Arc 1, Renril. So Eskimo boy all the way to Renril arc. My favorite character in Arc 1 would probably have to be, oh man, I guess it has to go to Bon. Bon was a G. Bon kept it real in that first arc. He was really good. In the modern arc, my favorite character in the modern arc, there were a lot of shenanigans in the modern arc. It was balls to the wall a lot of the time. I do want to say I do like Yuki quite a bit. I appreciate his energy, and I like that he wanted to be this benevolent force to befriend the Knockers. He had the right idea, honestly. Yuki had the idea. He was like, hey, maybe we should, try to be friends with the Knockers. Obviously, that didn't go out, as planned. Obviously, almost ended the world, but it was a good idea. And then for the future arc, again, the future arc is really tough. There are a lot of cool characters in the future arc. I would say number 32, the doll, Doro-chan. I did like 32. She had a really good arc. But I think I have to, give out to my gooning tendencies and just say Tonari. I'm sorry, guys. I am weak. Can you blame me, though? I mean, I was floored. The moment I saw Tonari's young adult design, I was floored. And then lastly, I do want to mention kind of Fushi as a character. I have mentioned this in a video in the past that has long been deleted by the YouTube gods, copyrighted out of existence. But I always kind of had like this, odd feeling about Fushi. On one part, I thought it was cool that he was able to just get this crazy power and just amass this incredible power in the beginning and just become this god-like thing that could just appear anywhere and have these vines and all this crap. So that was really cool. But at the same time, I was kind of disappointed in his character with the fact that he never really became mature. Like, he was always like a dumb, naive kid all the time. It always felt like that. It never felt and I said this before, whenever Fushi's in a room with other characters, it never feels like Fushi has the upper hand. He's never the smartest character in the room. And that's kind of odd because, this is the character that's been alive for longer than anyone. He should have the most wisdom by far. But he doesn't for some reason. He just feels like an idiot. But that being said, I still really do like his character. He just is that same old naive little kid. And you know what? I think it's really cool. I just love watching him do his thing and fret about his friends maybe potentially leaving him, and it's the same song and dance we've seen. But I really love seeing him, and I'm just attached at this point. I just love it. If I had one more regret about this series, I would say maybe just the romance. And I know this is very petty. The romance, there were moments of it here and there, but I just felt a little unsolved at different times, especially, there was the whole thing with Tonari. I wanted to see how she dealt with that, but it felt reasonable with what she said at the end there. It was fine. Bond with Iris, I don't even know, man. That's an afterthought to me. Gugu and Reen, ancient history. Ancient history. But you know what? All of those had just solid wrap-ups. They had, the part with Gugu reminiscing about his path in the village and about Reen. That had a good wrap-up. So you know what? I'm not too upset about that. That's just me rambling about. I'm just trying to find something to complain about. I just had such a good time with this series. Even while it wasn't the most well-written and had some very questionable parts in it, it was a journey, and it really just... I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember this for a long time. But yeah, anyone who, stuck with me through my past iterations, my past lives, trying to cover this series, I really appreciate you. It really meant a lot to me that I had an audience back then that was really excited to, keep up with this series. And I always found it funny how I would take like a 6 months long hiatus from making videos, and I'd come back, make a To Your Eternity video, and hey, the same people would be there ready to go. Be like, hey guys, hey, what's going on? We're ready for you. We're ready for your video. And I was like, oh, you guys. Love that. And so thank you so much if you were sticking around with me from back then. At this point, I think I don't know what I'm going to do with my channel. I might make some art. Who knows? Hopefully I have some art playing in the background right now. But yeah, thank you everyone, and have a great rest of your day.